Hello everyone, today we're looking at Beyond Good and Evil. Very esoteric title, and when I finally got down to playing it, it was really not what I was expecting it at all. And you might be wondering, what is Beyond Good and Evil? And the answer apparently this game gives is truth. So you basically live on this cool alien planet. This game really feels kind of like a Rare game to me, is what my real feel about it. And so you have all these interesting kind of quirky animal-esque characters. The main person you play as is Jade, who is this girl who is a journalist and photographer, and your camera is one of your main kind of items you use throughout your adventure, because you need to be able to take evidence and bring it back to your newspaper and publish articles and kind of fuel the resistance. The other main item you get is this staff you use to do fighting with other kinds of creatures and army guys and whatnot. And the whole game has kind of a cartoony style to it, but it's very fluid, very flowy. The world feels really alive, and the themes for a lot of the worlds feels just really good. And again, like that kind of rareware kind of feel to a game. Another big component of the game is that you have followers and companions that come along with you, and so they will have certain contextual things that allow you to do certain moves or help you in combat or help you solve puzzles, basically. And throughout the game you'll get, again, swap out different characters and whatnot. And so Jade has kind of been adopted, and she's kind of trying to figure out who she is and what her backstory is. And again, I know the world feels so alive in this game, and it's kind of like this giant hub world where you do have missions inside of it, but there's a lot of collectibles to find. It's very much like Banjo-Kazooie almost. And throughout the hub world, you also get this boat/hovercraft, and you basically use that to get around, and you can upgrade it. And there's even like a race mini game, and like you can explore with it and stuff. And so you meet a cast of really interesting characters who essentially are all trying to figure out what's going on. There's this mysterious force that's kind of invaded recently and are turning people into like combines or zombies or whatnot. And so you need to find evidence of this into this factory and then bring it back again to your headquarters and fuel the resistance through kind of propaganda against other propaganda. And one of the guys is an ex-soldier who realizes something is up, and he basically comes along with you to find out the truth. So yeah, I've never seen a game that actually handled propaganda as like one of the main mechanics in the mission, but Jade is basically part of that whole movement where she wants to essentially just find out the truth and publish it and use propaganda against the other propaganda. I don't know. It's a very interesting, nuanced game with a very good soundtrack, excellent sound design. Everything in here just feels really, really good. And of course, that's why I was very hyped to hear about Beyond Good and Evil 2 and, the presumed sequel. And unfortunately, it seems it's been stuck in development hell, and we may not get it after all. But regardless of that, I still have hope. Again, the dialogue for these characters is really, really great, and it really shines through in the trailer for the second game, and it reminded me very much of the same kind of style of game. But yeah, the dialogue of these characters is really well written, and it's something that made this game stand out a lot, frankly. Again, the puzzles are not necessarily super hard. There's not something that's exceptionally difficult to understand. It's just overall a very fun, well-made game. Another thing that Jade does besides her offensive abilities is she can also use her camera to take pictures of enemies, scan them, and kind of understand essentially their nature, and kind of like scanning Metroid Prime, essentially. And so your main companion is Paige, who's kind of your adoptive pig father or something, and he basically has the super boots ability. It's just like, okay, I just have to accept this. You also pick up collectibles that allow you to expand your health and other things like that. And again, there's lots of mini games where you can get, you know, upgrades and things you can come back for and find later in the mission and in the game, and kind of enjoy exploring and backtracking as well. Again, you know, this game has a great soundtrack, a great vibe. It has this cartoony style to it, but it's very, very kind of like it just has a very distinct mood. And it's just a very fun, alive world that you're part of, and it's a very fun universe just to kind of explore. And this is really in the golden age of platformers and action adventure exploration games, where you are collecting, you know, collectibles and stuff, and, you know, doing combos. You have your basic, you know, combat attack, but it's really about the story and the characters and everything else. And it feels all together very well balanced. But yeah, this is sadly seems to be a one-off kind of game that whose sequel may never see the light of day. And this was, you know, like an Ubisoft game, and they just got it really right. And you know, it's one of those like small cult hits that people are like, oh yeah, that game. And it's definitely worth playing. It's just really, really great. A lot of fun. About half the game you're going to spend in the overworld doing certain actions and objectives, and the other half of the time you're basically going to be going into these military facilities, sneaking around, doing stealth sections with Jade and her partner, and being able to basically discover and uncover the you know, conspiracy that's going on and exactly what they're doing to the people of this planet. And then it kind of reaches a climax at the end of the game where Jade kind of gets her own spaceship. And yeah, it's a very emotional game too, because, you know, she has this adoptive kind of father figure, and she's not really sure you know, how everything is going to turn out. But yeah, you're able to like crouch and stealth around, and it's just one of those memorable games. If you like Banjo-Kazooie or any kind of like, you know, adventure action game, this is something that's definitely worth it. And it's a very interesting story and dark subject matter, despite the cartoon presentation, which is something I always like, when you can have you know, like a simple presentation, but the you know, the actual content of itself is actually quite interesting and dark. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this game without really doing huge spoilers for it. It's just really cool, really fun. It has a very basic combat system, and it just works well. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this game. I hope it does get a sequel eventually. But yeah, that's kind of it for now. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.